would you like to learn 192 chords right now? Well, I'm Stan Munslow, and I can show you just how to do that. It's easy. In the next few minutes, you'll know them all, because you only have to learn 3 things. There are 3 steps involved. So let's get started. The first step is you need to learn the 4 basic chord fingerings. If you look at the first one, it's major. It's just like an F chord. I'm sure you've seen that one before. You just bar your first finger across on 2 strings, add your second and third fingers diagonally, you've got an F major chord. If you bar 3 strings across, keep your third finger where it was, you've got F minor. If you bar 4 strings across, keep your middle finger where it was, you've got F7. And finally, if you just bar your first finger right across, you've got F minor 7. Alright, so that's your start. You've got these 4 chords. You've got F, you've got F minor, you've got F7, and you've got F minor 7. Okay, so there's a start, but just a small one. Now we're going to move to the second step. We're going to start talking about the keys. See, these 4 chords are movable. You can play them at any fret up the neck, and it just changes the chord's key. So, if you took your F chord and moved it to the 2nd fret, as you can see over here, you've got F sharp, okay? So you've got just a higher sound, but it's still a major chord. And you just move up the alphabet as you move up the neck. You've got F at the 1st, G at the 3rd, A at the 5th, B is the 7th, and so on. Now in between, you've got your sharps and flats. If you move an F chord up 1 fret, it's F sharp. If you move a G chord down a fret, it's G flat. So we have the same name, 2 different names for the same chord. That's just the way it's been for a long time. But notice though, when you get to the 7th fret, you've got B, and then there's C right next to it. There is no B sharp or C flat. So you just have to deal with that. Okay? And you got D at the 10th fret and E at the 12th fret. Now the way you can keep them track is that by saying that F stands for first and E stands for the end. You just move right up the neck, right up the alphabet. F, G, A, B, C, D, E. Put your sharps in between. So right now, you've got 12 keys, you've got 4 different chords, you've got 48 chords. So if the music said to play something pretty strategic looking like A flat minor 7, you just find the minor 7 fingering, bar right across 4 strings, go to A flat, which is the 4th fret, a fret below A, and you've got A flat minor 7. Okay, one more example. If you needed B7, B is at the 7th fret, and you know what the 7th chord fingering is, so there's your B7. So right now, you're in control of 48 chords. Now we get you through a lot of situations. We got a lot more to do, and here's where the fun really starts. We're going to talk about tensions. And for most of you, that's probably going to be a new thing. So this is where you really need to check this out. All right, I'm going to move over so I can show you this. Tensions are described as optional added notes that you can apply to any one of the 4 basic fingerings. The tensions are called sus4, 6, and 9. They're options. They're your choice. And you can put them on any of the chords. So if you needed to play, let's say an A sus4, it's all a matter of what you do with your little finger. So I'm going to pick this one up, and you're going to put a sus4 by putting your little finger right on the 3rd string. Right underneath where your 3rd finger is. Okay? If you want to play a 6, you just move your little finger over to the 2nd string. And if you want to play a 9, you just move your little finger down to the 1st string. Okay? So right now, you could add any one of these 3 tensions to any one of those 4 chords. Now, we call them tensions, but that is kind of a misnomer because they are not tense. What they are is intense. Tensions add a lot of intensity, vibrancy, they add new colors to your music, but again, you've got to understand that they are your choice. You decide whether you're going to use them. And what that means is, if you were playing a song and it said to play G, you could play a G chord as it says. I got my fingering at the 3rd fret. But if you wanted to, you could add a sus4 to that. You could add a 6. Or if you put your little finger on the 1st string, you could add a 9. You don't have to be asked to play any of these three. You decide. On the other hand, if the music said to play G6, you can ignore it. You could just play G major. You don't need to play the 6. You don't need to play any of them. But they are nice, and you probably want to add them in whenever you feel like it. And also, if the music said to play G sus4, you could just say, well, I think I'm going to play G6 instead. I like the sound of that one better. It is your choice. And that's because these tensions don't change the chord. They just change the chord's sound. It's like house paint. It changes the color of the house. It doesn't change the house. These three tensions adjust the sound of the chord, but they don't change the chord's function. And that's what's important. So a major chord is happy, it's bright, and adding these tensions is not going to change that. A minor chord is dark. Adding the tensions is not going to change that. So for instance, a G minor chord sounds kind of sad. A G minor 9 still sounds kind of sad, with a little more intensity. Okay? So that's what they do. They alter the sound of the chord slightly. You can add them in, you could take them right off. So if you had a little boring stretch of music where you just had G for the first 4 measures, you don't have to just keep playing the same G chord for 4 measures in a row. You could maybe play the G for the first measure, then go to sus4, back to G again, back to sus4. So your little finger does all 3 of these. Now, if you take any of those 3 tensions and add them to any one of those 4 chords, and you can move them to any one of those 12 keys, you've got a lot of chords at your disposal. I'm going to show you what you could do. So here's what you could do with these tensions just at the 5th fret. Okay. You could play A minor, A7, A minor 7. You could play A sus4, A minor sus4, A7 sus4, A minor 7 sus4. You could play A6, A minor 6, A7 6, which is actually called A13, 7 plus 6, or A minor 7 6, which is called A minor 13. You could play A9, you could play A minor 9, A7 9, or A minor 7 9. It's 16 chords just at the 5th fret. And you can play any of those 16 forms at any fret. So you do the math. You got 16 forms times 12 keys. You've got 192 chords ready to add a lot of color, dimension, just plain creativity to your playing. Because remember, the tensions are your choice. You put them in whenever you want. And they add a lot to the music. So for instance, instead of just playing a plain old A minor 7, you could play A minor 7 with a 9. Instead of playing just plain old B7, you can play B7 with the 6, B13, the ultimate blues chord, and all the others as well. So by adding all this vocabulary, all this possibility to your playing, you just improve your guitar playing in a big way. But that's what musicians do. You know, they're always trying to find ways to get good and to get great. I'd like to show you my book, Getting Good, Getting Great, What the Best Players Know. It's published by Oaklight Publishing. Inside there are 88 short chapters on all aspects of being a great musician. There's wisdom, there's inspiration, there's life smarts, there's practical tips and time savers. There's suggestions on overcoming stage fright, how to give your music a winning tone, right? How to play with great chemistry with other musicians, how to pass an audition, how to get more practicing done in less time, and a whole lot more. Each one of those chapters will help you to become a great musician in some way, because that's part of it. The great players are not born with their amazing talent, hardly ever. All right? They have a winner's attitude, they work hard, and they know stuff. So think what you could do if you knew what they know. So again, the book is called Getting Good, Getting Great, What the Best Players Know. It's available at barnesandnoble.com or amazon.com. I'm Stan Munslow, and I wish you great luck with the chords and have fun with them.